So since I destroyed the rear, what are these called? Stub axle carriers, the rear ones left and right, both. And that's why my wheels were, were really flexing like this on the rear axles. I thought I'd open up the front one and see if any damage had been done to the front one. And not as much as the rear, nowhere close to as much as the rear, but I do see that this gear is bound up. It's not spinning on the bearing itself. The entire thing does. And this one's still a little smooth, so this one, the bigger one, is fine. The shorter one, or this one, is binding up. So I'm thinking that next time, actually I got a pair of bearings for the front and the back. So the front ones I'm going to change out. These are, put the back, same one in the back ones. And then before I put everything together, I'm going to grease. I know they say not to, but I'm only running in like wet conditions, and I think that's what's causing all of this. So I'm going to give it a go and see if me greasing all of these parts inside and outside, like put grease here, push that through, put grease in there, push this through, put a bunch of grease here, push that through. Let me just get that through. Yeah. And that's how it spins, right? That's the motion, which then connects to the power coming out, power coming out of the output shafts from the diff, using this. And this is splined, and it makes the spin. This makes the wheel spin using this nut, which goes on top of this way. And then there's a grub screw that tightens onto that flat surface there. So everything is nicely bound together like so. And then when this spins, this entire thing spins, right? And I'm hoping that there's very little chance of, at least between the two bearings, very little chance of any dirt getting in there, but I'll just see. I'll try it out and I'll see if it works or not. So that's the plan, to do it for the front ones and the rear ones. For the rear ones, I have gotten the aluminum ones, since these are shredded. They've got damage all over the place. So I might as well upgrade them if I'm changing them out. So I got these. Hopefully these perform better and are smoother than the plastic surfaces. At the same time, I have to, when I opened up my front diff to change out the fluid, I noticed that the carrier was, the diff housing was cracked, one of the pieces. So I got this to replace the cracked diff housing. I'll also re-grease everything in there. And not sure if I want to tackle all of this right now, since my rear diff is working so far, but I may also change out my rear diff and the front diff carriers. And these are aluminum. These look a lot more solid than the plastic ones that you get from Traxxas. This is the original part. So yeah, I'm not sure when I'm going to get to this part, but for sure I am going to grease and put this back together. Same thing on the other side of the RC car, and then put these in the rear and grease them up also, ball bearings and all, so that everything hopefully works better. Thanks. I'd love to hear how everyone else greases their parts, but you know what I mean. What I've done is I've taken a chopstick, sliced off the end to make it into an applicator, and then I just squeeze a little out. Oh, by the way, this is the grease I use, Permatex High Performance, something I picked up from Canadian Tire, a whole bunch of it. So just take a little and then apply it to whatever you need it, like so. Spread it around. Don't get your hands dirty. You could do it with your hands too. This is my preference. Yeah, works well. I'll wipe any excess off so that any dirt doesn't stick to it. And that would help once everything is in and working as expected. Then I'll just wipe the excess off. I think that's more than enough. Slide all the parts in. You don't even need me. You don't need to see me do all of that. So I'm gonna cut now and come back to it. Let me know if you cringe when you see me do this. You know, I might be thinking, what is this guy doing? This is all going to get caked with dirt and sand, and this will all act as an abrasive. If that's true, please do let me know. I want to know how people grease these parts, and if they don't, what are their reasons for not to? Doesn't this part eventually wear out? So yeah, I want to prevent it, and I want to make some sort of boot. In actual cars, they have these rubber boots that actually go around joints like this, and they contain the grease inside and dirt and dust outside. So literally something that would go over this part all to here. So sort of like a thin tube on this side, which expands in the middle and then covers on this, and then that entire area inside is filled with grease. Oh yeah, this feels so much smoother already. So yeah, what do people do for that? I'm just gonna fill this gap and all around with it with grease and see what happens. But yeah, any thoughts and ideas, I'd love to know. Thanks. All right, so I packed all the grease in. You can see the tons of grease there. Packed grease in there behind this bearing, around the bearing, in between the back bearing and the front bearing. Pack that with grease. Put everything here, screw everything in, clean all of this excess grease off, and repeat that on the other side. Okay, something I've come up with to make sure that the nut is pushed as tightly against this part as it is, so there's no slop, and that is a a nut that I found in my garage, a washer that I found in my garage, and a nut to tighten it. So hopefully that, and then if I tighten this enough, that should push against that really tightly. That should give me the maximum amount of, it should take any slop there basically. I'll do one more twist. See if I can hold any one of these pieces and twist. Oh no, that's just too much. Ugh, can't. And there. And then I will take a little bit of Loctite shake. That's what they say. Apply a little bit of Loctite to this grub screw. And there we go, that's too much, but it's so hard to get just a little bit out. So that's that. And then I will apply that grub screw to the nut, wheel nut, and wipe the excess off once that's in. Get it really tight. A lot of torque on that part. Put that away and wipe the excess off. And should be done. And then I'll just take my makeshift, whatever this torque applier, power applier, whatever we want to call it, out. And that should be in solidly there. Perfect. Okay, so I just undid the screws on the other side, and as you can see, quite a bit of rust on this side too. This guy, and oh my god, yeah, look at that. All rust. And if I put, it's not even coming out. Oh, there we go. Okay, that's the inner bearing. That's jammed on. Ooh, and it's not even moving. This thing is, not moving at all. Oh, and it's stuck. I gotta probably spray it with some WD-40 and let it sit. But yeah, this is stuck and jammed. Oh, there we go, came off. Okay, need to clean this out. And then let's look at the inner one. This guy is pretty much caked in there too. Let me see if I can get it pushed out. Ooh, oh, there we go. There. Huh. Yeah, I'll need to clean this. Yeah, so similar condition as the other one, even though this seems slightly worse though, because the other one, at least it was spinning around. This one doesn't seem like it is. Okay, so I cleaned them out. They were filthy. There's some spin back to this, or it seems like there's some spin back to this, but I'm going to reuse it anyway, pack it with grease, and then pack the inside. Same thing that I did on the other side, I'm going to repeat on this side. And I don't know why I cleaned this one out. Maybe I'll keep it for future for some reason, for a rainy day, because I have a brand new one that came with the new packaging, with the new pack of bearings that I bought. So let's do the exact same thing that I did on the other side, assemble everything together, grease everything while assembling, and then move on to the back part. So both sides properly greased, properly pushed in. The front really never had an issue much, but let me see if I can get this in the shot too. There we go. So yeah, well greased, packed in there. So, oh, there. So let's see how that binds or sticks or gets abraded by sand and dust. Let's see how that goes. So the stub axle carriers, I don't know if it can focus. There. Stub axle carriers came with two pieces, this one and this one, and then a bunch of pins, screws, C-clamps, grub screws, all sorts of stuff. I'm going to make the assumption that these guys go through here and here, same thing on the other side, so there are two. I'm going to make the assumption that this guy is the same as this guy, which goes through this. So maybe it needs a shorter one, I'm not sure, I'm going to see. And then I have no idea what the grub screws are for. So if anyone does, please do tell me what the grub screws are for, because it doesn't seem like there's anything here that I would need that for. Thanks. Okay, so all greased up, all ready to go. Let's see how this performs. I'm surprised it's turning so easily now. I thought I had locked the diff with putty, but it seems like it's moving fairly easily now. So not sure what's going on there. But at the same time, everything is really well greased. These were the two bearing failures that I had on one side, and this is the one bearing. I reused the other bearing, so I just have one bearing left. Yeah, so this side had one bearing failure, which was completely destroyed, nothing left. This side had two bearing failures, one completely destroyed, nothing left. The other kind of is halfway, more than halfway there. So yeah, let's see how it runs tomorrow. All good, excited about it.